Game Over Vancouver is broadcasting from the Game Over Network channel for the playoffs, but starting in October, the network launches for real, which means for all of your Vancouver Canucks content, you want to go check out the Game Over Vancouver channel. You can subscribe right now by opening up the Game Over Network channel from this video in a new tab, scroll down past my ugly mug, click on the Game Over Vancouver YouTube page, then click subscribe and click that reminder bell as well so you don't miss when we post a video or go live. Tell all your Canucks fans, friends, and family to come join our awesome community. You really won't regret it. And for this video, make sure you smash that like button right into oblivion.
Uh-oh.
It's not showing. Okay, there we go. Um, it wasn't showing the little bar. I didn't know what was going on. Hello everybody. My name is Kaja May. I am here with Avry, and tonight we are recapping Game 5 between the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome to Game Over. The game is in fact over. It could have been over a lot later. But JT Miller kept that from happening like Evan Bouchard did the other night. Um, Overall, what was your general impression from how the Oilers played tonight? Because it definitely didn't feel like they were in control.
It was a game in which, even though Edmonton lost, every forward on that team should be buying Calvin Pickard dinner, a new house, a new car, a new dog, a new cat, whatever he wants. That should have been 5-1 Vancouver.
I mean, considering that the Canucks had their highest amount of shots on goal the entire postseason, like this was the first game they hit over 30 for this is their um oh, I'm horrible at math. This is their 11th game in the postseason, and they had yet to hit over 30 shots. They hit 29. They hit 35 tonight. So obviously there was a lot more volume headed Calvin Pickard's way, and the Canucks were, can I say dominating? Because
Uh,
it felt like at some points they definitely were, more so than they were in game 4.
yeah, it felt that way after Edmonton made it 1-0. It felt like, especially after the Giuseppe goal, things turned in a major way to Vancouver's way. I felt like Edmonton was chasing the game for the bulk of this one after they made it 1-0, Kaya.
Yeah, definitely. After the 1-0 goal, I felt like because they also had that early penalty that they had to kill, which they did kill off. We're going to talk about special teams in a bit, but yeah, they had to after that 1-0 goal, I feel like the words for whatever Rick Tocchet told them between game 4 and game 5, whatever it was, just kicked in right away. Overall, Elias Pettersson was a visible force tonight. And hey, Lady Bing finalist gets called for charging, so who knew that was going to be a thing? Apparently it's charging because he jumped into the hit. You know what? The game's over. It is no longer our problem. Just for other notes, our Zoom call that we're doing this on is named after the rule for charging, so I've had to put that out there. Um, yeah, Knobloch, he had some good chances. I feel like early before the Oilers had made it 1-0, or just kind of just after, the Canucks weren't exactly like he was leaving out a bunch of where is it? They had some good chances, but there wasn't really a lot that they were converting with
Mm.
that. Um I wrote that down later on. Never mind then. That was the beginning of the second. But um yeah, the Oilers having like 3 power plays at the beginning, even though they had the special teams odds stacked against the Canucks, I have a feeling that they were uh even though they were getting those power plays, it still wasn't like how do I describe this? it wasn't a motivating factor for them because the Canucks were so dominating on the penalty kill tonight. Which is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying for the entire series. Just the way it looked before, but yeah, 0-5 for the Oilers tonight on the power play. I know we're gonna talk a bit more at length about special teams in a bit, but just a teaser trailer for that portion of our chat. What happened? Generally, like I'm not sure, like, were the Canucks just really more aggressive than they usually were? Were they actually trying during their during the penalty kill? What do you think was the Oilers' downfall?
Honestly, I saw them cutting off that one timer at times to Draisaitl. We saw them really getting on Hyman in the front of the net. And of course, with the Oilers power play, it's a matter, pick your poison. Who do you have to stop, or who can you stop? And really, neutralizing Hyman and Draisaitl was the way to win. That's how you do it on a penalty kill. I mean, it's easier said than done. But Vancouver was able to collapse the net, not let Hyman dominate in front of Seelovs, and you find a way to win when you do that. When you can slow that down, you find a way to win.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a bit of talk about how the Canucks need to, contain those few players, like Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid was a -2 tonight, and he had no assists, no goals. He had a few shots on net, I believe. He had 2 shots on net, 2 hits, 23 minutes time on ice, by leading forwards. But yeah, he was quite well contained tonight. Evander Kane got a goal, which, I mean, tonight was a night for depth scoring overall, because Phil DiGiuseppe, after missing games 3 and 4, comes back and he scores that awesome goal after Niels Oman forces the turnover from Evan Bouchard behind the net. And I don't know, that was just really fun to see. I should have found I have a Phil DiGiuseppe hoodie I should have found, but yeah, that was good to see. I think it's the dad strength in him, but yeah, the Canucks were chasing the game. It seemed like, not throughout the play, but on the score sheet at least, because obviously Oilers go up 1-0. Canucks come back and tie it with Carson Soucy scoring after a lot of Canucks pressure, which I feel like we saw that at the beginning of the game. More of the pressure chances for the Canucks were a bit disorganized, and they kind of grew to like a regular system later on in the game, whereas the Oilers were kind of on the opposite side, where anything they were trying earlier was very structured, and anything they tried later on in the game was kind of just rushing to try literally anything at all, even when the game was tied. I just felt like that was maybe like a move of desperation in some sense. But I don't know. I feel like there's a bit desperation on both sides, because obviously the Canucks lost game 4. They're in their home building, which they've honestly not played well at Rogers Arena throughout the playoffs. So, I mean, good for them. But yeah, it was really we don't know how this is going to end. But JT Miller answers that for us. So yeah, Evander Kane put the Edmonton Oilers up 1-0, not the Canucks, because that would be wrong. If you're talking about a player getting the other team a goal, I mean, Ian Cole, he's right there. I'm never letting that go. But yeah, Evander Kane scores. Draisaitl gets his 13th assist of the playoffs in the second round, which is just nasty. And Vinny Desharnais gets his first assist of the playoffs. Carson Soucy scores his first of the playoffs, period. Unassisted. And great shot, by the way, too. But no one was guarding him. It goes right in after a few bounces. To Soucy, it gets to Soucy after a few bounces, goes right in. 1-1. Then the Matthias Janmark goal, I'm gonna say that was a beautiful goal. Like, we're sitting there, I was watching with some friends. We're sitting there, and we're mad because obviously the Canucks got scored on and, they gave up that rush chance. But at the same time, that was a nice move from the Oilers' fourth line there.
No, it was. And two guys who needed points in the series in this postseason period, Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark, they connect, they get that goal. And again, you mentioned the top guy. Edmonton has needed depth scoring. They've needed other guys to step up and get aware. And that's kind of thing that can motivate your bottom six guys to see, hey, we got to find a way to wake up more often and give that more of that depth scoring to guys like, or guys like Hyman, McDavid, et cetera, and not let this be a 3 or 4 man team going forward.
Yeah, like exactly. I feel like the narrative surrounding the Oilers a lot is that they're a two-man team, a handful of men team, I guess. Depending on how many you want to count in that grouping of like elite talent, which I mean, it's usually just like the two-man team, but then Hyman gets 50 goals, and then there's also Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who was, I mean, he's been better, but they called him a veteran tonight, and I just shuddered, because, like, that man looks like he's my age. That's not a veteran. You're joking. But yeah, that was a beautiful goal. I will say that. And the Canucks fourth line answers back. Phil DiGiuseppe returning in his first game since being a scratch in games 3 and 4 for personal reasons. Congratulations to Phil DiGiuseppe, by the way. He is a new father for his baby Sam. So wonderful moment for him. And yeah, basically him and Niels Oman forced the turnover from Evan Bouchard, who's also been outstanding these playoffs. But yeah, he goes a little spin. I wrote PDG spin cycle ties it, and that's basically the description of that entire sequence. And yeah, then there was a lot of chances. I mean, both ways. What were the shots in that third period? Yeah, Oilers 8, Vancouver 7. So it was pretty equal. They're both trying to get their own chances. But JT Miller's the one who pots it home. With 33 seconds left. I think ended up being like 32.7.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, because they switched. It was 31.9, and then it was 32, and they had to check the clock again because, of course, it's not a playoff game for the Vancouver Canucks if you don't have to change the clock about 5,000 times. Like, even at that last moment, the offside, when Matthias Ekholm goes offside, and then it says 0.4, but they have to adjust it to, like, 3.1. Nothing's happening, guys, but I guess rules are rules. Anyway, JT Miller scores, assisted from Elias Lindholm and Elias Pettersson, and Vancouver takes yet another 1-goal game. I mean, it was exciting. It was a very exciting 1-goal game. That's the thing about this series is it's been very, like, the scores are very close. And sometimes, that can, if it's a low scoring thing, that can be a little annoying. But these last few games have been very exciting. Like, even last game, the Canucks weren't really doing anything, but the Oilers were running the show, basically. That was really cool to watch. And Vancouver, when they cared for the last 10 minutes or so, that was also cool. But yeah, this game overall, very high energy. There hasn't been a fight this series.
No, there is not. There's been pushing and shoving. There's been scrums. There's been taunting. But yeah, no one's dropped their gloves yet in this series, which is a little bit surprising. But actually, you know what? It isn't surprising because every game has been a 1-goal game. So I guess not that surprising after all, really.
True. You need You need, like, Casey DeSmith to come back in, let in 5, and then Tyler Myers is absolutely gonna deck. Oh, who would it be funny if he fought? Who would be funny for Tyler Myers to fight?
Derek Ryan.
I was like Vinny Desharnais, and I'm like, wait, no, that they're like the same size. Like that would be fine.
Yeah, Derek Ryan is barely 5'9". Oh, he's 5'10". Derek Ryan's not 5'10". He's 5'8.5" ish.
I'd be like Connor Garland trying to fight Vinny Desharnais, basically, because Connor Garland says he's 5'10", but
He's no on skates maybe. He's not 5'10".
yeah,
Shoes.
no. I yeah, I mean, the first game of the season there was a fight not even 5 minutes in between these two teams. I think it was not even 5 minutes in. It was Desharnais and Joshua. So Desharnais tackled Dakota Joshua to the ground. But like yeah, he lost that fight. He tried, but he's a big man. He's a large fellow. Yeah, the Western Conference second round is one for the ages, but especially with these two teams here, because I don't know. I feel like it's a weird feeling because so many people have just written off that the winner of the Dallas-Colorado series is just going to take this team and run through it. But I don't know. I feel like Calvin Pickard and Ian Cole could put up a fight for the Oilers. Anyway, I think it's time to talk about special teams. So we'll be right back after a message from Game Over Ottawa.
Game Over Ottawa is relaunching in October. So for all of your Ottawa Senators action, reaction, news, analysis, and fun, make sure that you click on the Game Over Network channel right now, open a new tab in this video, scroll past my ugly mug, and click on the Game Over Ottawa channel. Subscribe, and then hit that drop-down menu. Make sure you hit the alarm bell so that you get notified whenever we post a video or go live. Tell all your Sens fans, friends, and family to check out our awesome community, and make sure you smash the like button on this video right into oblivion.
Alright, before we get into just power plays, penalty kills, all that kind of stuff, just wanted to note here, the Canucks had 42 shots to the Oilers' 20. I think they got the message that they needed to step up.
I'd say so.
Elias Pettersson sure did, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about right now. Anyway, so the Oilers, for the first time in these playoffs, did not score a power play goal. They went 0 for 5. The Vancouver penalty kill, which has not been stellar, by the way. Nashville's was better, and they only lasted one round, of course, against the Canucks, but still, was a bit concerning. But then again, it's the unbeatable power play of the Oilers, but basically turns into the Titanic here. Unsinkable, and it sinks. For those of you who did not see the 1993, but I don't remember what year it was. I wasn't born, so it doesn't exist.
Titanic 97.
Thank you.
But either way, I was born then. The fact that you weren't for what, a good 5 or 6 more years, Kaja, I feel old knowing that.
I feel like I should. The only thing that was born of importance to me in 1997 was Brock Besser. So no, just
what a segue.
Anyway, he didn't even take a penalty tonight. He probably did. No, he didn't. Did he? He did not. I'm smart. Yeah, it starts early after P.S. Suter gets called for goaltender interference on Calvin Pickard. The Canucks kill that off here in the chat. Hairline check. It's better than Lewis Hamilton's. Anyway, Quinn Hughes gets a delay of game penalty for puck over glass. I mean, yeah. Ian Cole gets called for holding against Dylan Holloway. right after Zach Hyman gets called for holding the stick against Nikita Zadorov. Then Tyler Myers gets roughing against Matthias Janmark. Matthias Janmark gets called for embellishment. And that was just the first period. It seems like the refs were absolutely pulling the rule book out, especially the beginning first 40 minutes of the game, because one penalty was called in the third period. Do you think that was accurate?
Uh, NHL officiating, I don't even know what is accurate anymore because again, it seems like we're making up the rules as we go along every single game. Like the NHL officials now call games via Calvin ball, which is a bad thing for a professional sport to do.
A Calvin ball?
Calvin ball. Did I? Okay. Oh, boys, do you know what Calvin Hobbs is?
That's the cat, right?
Yes,
And the boy.
the 7-year-old boy and his pet tiger, well, his tiger toy that came to life in his mind. They used to play a game called Calvin Ball, which was a combination of like soccer, football, but every single game the rules would change, much like referees in NHL. That's why I use the
Okay.
reference of Calvin Ball because the rules change every single game here in this series.
I get it now. I get it now. I feel like I should know that. I really like tigers. That's I don't know how we got here to me talking about tigers, but yeah, it changed every game. Warren Fogle got called for interference against Connor Garland. Evander Kane got called for slashing against Nikita Zadorov. Again, those two continue their little battle, which I want to see them fight, but I don't know how that would end. Also, if Nikita Zadorov got suspended, that would not end well with the Canucks, because we saw what happened when they suspended Carson Soucy. And he did come back and score tonight. But if
You did.
Nikita Zadorov is like the best defenseman on earth right now for the Canucks, we're done without him. That's all I could say. Elias Pettersson gets called for charging against Warren Fogle, which by a technicality, it's in the rule book that he's jumping into a hit, which Archie reference, a quick Avry make an Archie reference to blow Kai's mind. I watched Riverdale, I know Archie references.
But Riverdale, only thing I'll say this and we'll get back to the hockey. Riverdale, stupid series, because how do you go from Archie, Dark Archie, to this black magic nonsense? No, you're doing too much. Sorry.
I gave up after like season 2, so I just knew vague stuff about it. Like I knew the villain, she had a girlfriend. Cool. Anyway, Dakota Joshua is called for interference against Connor McDavid. Which, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was one of those trademark calls where you step a little too close to Connor McDavid, but then looking back on it, yeah, he was pretty getting into his grill there.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I mean, if he did it, they were saying this on the radio, if he did it, like, a little less obvious, he could have gotten away with it, but he just went straight for it. I'm like, you know what? Okay. Then Brett Kulak gets called for tripping against Elias Lindholm. And, yeah. There were 4 penalties called, or 4 power plays for the Canucks, 5 for the Oilers, and nothing was converted. So either the Canucks penalty kill and the Oilers penalty kill is really good. I mean, also the Canucks power play actually looked decent tonight. It's just that Calvin Pickard was standing on every single feasible limb to stop anything from going in. So I commend him for that. That was very impressive. But yeah, because the Canucks power play looked like they were actually doing something tonight. But the Oilers power play, they never really got set up. The Canucks in the first period, when they had especially those first 2 power plays, those were they were getting really into the Edmonton zone there. Is that something that the Oilers should be worried about for Game 6?
it is one of the things that they should be worried about, especially going back onto home ice. But I mean, I do think things will be cleaned up. I do think things will be cleaned up for Game 6. I know Chris Knobloch is gonna have a good talk with his team to go over things, and it really can't be a repeat of what happened again, or else you're done, your season's over. So I think the response can be far better on that end, especially on special teams going forward on Saturday evening, Kaya.
Yeah, Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, there's a mosquito flying around my room right now. I just noticed it come near me and I'm like, that's not fluff. It's moving more. Anyway, um how about that clip of Rick Tocchet shushing Adam Foote? I'm
What
gonna
was that
need to
about?
I missed that. I need to find that. That sounds hilarious. But yeah, it was weird to see the Edmonton power play get so kind of like tuck their tail between their legs because they weren't as dominant as they were the last basically year. I'll be honest. It's the Edmonton power play. They're outstanding. And then you get into this game and it's like they took the Canucks power play from the regular season and just plopped it in the middle here. They're barely getting shots off. The Canucks had more shots against the Oilers for the first time, I think, this entire series, which is impressive. But yeah, I think that it does need to be looked at. I don't think it's going to be a constant. I believe it's an anomaly. Like the Canucks controlling the Oilers' best players, that's not going to happen, obviously, every night. It didn't happen in Game 2. It didn't happen in Game 4. Things probably going to go to 7, I'll be honest. I For the entertainment value, it would be great if it went 7. For my sanity, I don't know. But most of that's already gone. So the Canucks penalty kill, I feel like it got a bit of life back into it because while it did have, like, it was missing, like, I guess, Ilya Mikheyev and, who's usually a key penalty killer because he, I think his day-to-day is what Tocchet said. We don't know, but he's dealing with something. And he's day-to-day, I believe. And overall, the penalty kill was actually really strong. Because that Mikheyev was out, you got in some more of the... I don't want to say that Hoglander and Podkolzin are like AHL guys, because they spent... Like, Hoglander spent most of the season up with the big team. Podkolzin has spent a lot of the time in the NHL. I did like that they got into the lineup. I thought they had pretty good games. Niels Oman is pretty good, is really good defensively. Also on the forecheck, we saw with the PDG goal. Phil DiGiuseppe was a force tonight. No one can stop that man. I just need like 500 pictures of the Italian inarticulate noises. Like, anytime he does something that's good, that's on Canucks Twitter, like, throughout the timeline.
Just a bunch of...
Oh, just that one picture. It's like inarticulate Italian noises. It's either him or it's Frank Vetrano doing something. And that's it. That's all I see. Yeah, I think the Canucks penalty kill did look strong tonight, but I feel like it's also because the Oilers' power play was struggling tonight. If the Oilers' power play was at least a 50% more than what they were tonight, like not 50% closer maybe, but like if they were a little bit more themselves tonight, the Canucks would not stand a chance, unless Artur Shilov's completely bails them out again, but... Yeah, which he was doing. Which, I mean, he's a Canucks goalie. He's going to have to do that. Any comments on the Oilers penalty kill themselves? Because, yeah, the Canucks had some strong power plays, but they still did not manage to convert.
No, and it was penalty kill for most of the playoffs has been a really good aspect. I know we talk about the power play being so deadly, but the penalty kill has been a thing that's been a very strong asset for the Oilers this entire postseason. We saw them keep the Kings scoreless on the man advantage that entire series. We, for the most part, saw it get against Vancouver. But when Edmonton doesn't have, but Edmonton needs more than just that one aspect clicking to win a series against a team like Vancouver. They're going to need more than just that one thing to work. I mean, yes, it's great the penalty kill was good again, but you need more than that to win on Game 6 on Saturday.
Yes. Yeah. All goals tonight were scored 5-on-5. I think that's the first time this series. Which is interesting. Shocking. Before we get into a little preview for Game 6, I have one question for you from Julian McKenzie in the chat. How many fedoras do you own?
Okay, so all time, I have about 20-ish, but when your head grows, you stop fitting into certain hats. So I've had to give a few away, move on. So I rotate right now through about 6 or 7 right now. I rotate through.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yes.
My all-time record is 2, and they are not in the rotation anymore. We're gonna get into a little bit of a Game 6 preview for both teams, and then we will take all your questions. So put them in the chat, and we'll get back to them.
Game Over Calgary is relaunching in October. For all your Game Over Calgary content, make sure you subscribe to our Calgary-specific YouTube channel. Open the Game Over Network YouTube page in a new tab from this video, scroll past Andrew talking, and click on the Game Over Calgary channel in our featured channel section. Click subscribe and make sure you hit the drop-down menu to get notified when we post videos or go live. Tell all your Flames fan friends and family to check it out and join our awesome community. And make sure you smash the like button on this video right into oblivion.
All right. So, with the Oilers for Game 6, what do you think the goaltending situation will be?
Oh!
The $1 million question.
You know what? Ah, man. They didn't lose this game because of Calvin Pickard. He didn't cost them this game, but eventually, I do think this team is going to go back to Stuart Skinner. They're going to go back to him eventually, but, wow. What do you do?
Do you think if they put Stuart Skinner in for Game 6, is that going to cost them more than if they put Pickard in?
Oh, wow. That's... If they can... It's tough because the thing with Skinner is that they weren't losing games with Stewart on high danger shots. Stewart was being beaten on these low danger chances, which anyone should have easily. So honestly, it wouldn't be surprised. I would not be shocked if Knobloch does give Pickard one more chance here, because he might. I could see him saying, "Listen, you didn't lose us a game." I could see him saying, "You know what? We want to give you another chance to save the season." And I could see if they were to win, maybe you go back to Stewart, but it wouldn't shock me if once again we see Knobloch going back to Pickard again for Game 6.
Yeah, I definitely think he has earned it. He's been better than Stuart Skinner this series, I will say that. I will say also, though, 3 of the 5 goals he's allowed in the series have been basically pretty high danger, like directly right in front. He had the one in Game 4, which I don't exactly remember which goal it was, but NHL.com said he had one. And then, yeah, 2 of the goals tonight were basically right on the doorstep. So is that something really to worry about, or does it cancel out eventually? Because technically, I mean, he's let in less goals than Stuart Skinner has an entire game.
Ooh, I think to an extent it does, and that's the big thing, is just keeping the puck out right now is the big thing. It does cancel out. So, like, I don't get me wrong. Like, Knobloch has said before that he will find, like, say they win, Stewart will play again this postseason if they do win, but I think it cancels out. And I do think you do want to say this to Calvin, hey, you know what? Here's a chance again to keep the season going. You deserved it. But either way, I would not want to be in that room, Kaya, and have to make that decision on if I'm going to go back to either Calvin or Stewart. I would not want to be the coach making that call. I would not want to be at all.
That's a call that can get you Sheldon Keefed. I think that they should go with Pickard. I mean, he swung the risk. I think that it paid off, definitely. Like you said at the top of the show, if not for Calvin Pickard, it would have been 5-1 Canucks. I agree with that. Do you think any of the lines, pairings, any of that will change? I see Darnell Nurse was with Desharnais instead of the usual Nurse CC pairing. And Draisaitl, once he had his own line again. I believe that had already happened. So, do you see any particular, like, Adam Henrique is injured, correct?
Yes, he is. He's still hurt.
He's still hurt. Who else do we think that scratches? Is Sam Gagner gonna come in?
You know what? He's someone who I would not be opposed to seeing Sam Gagner check in. I would not be opposed to it. He's someone who has had a lot of jump on the bottom forward, but I don't see Sam checking in, even though I would like him to. I think for the most part they're gonna keep the line the same. I did love tonight. I did love what guys like Holloway and Kane brought, but I would not be shocked if we do eventually see in Game 6 Knobloch go to loading up the top line with McDavid and Draisaitl, because we've seen it before in this series where if it's a tough situation, Knobloch goes to loading up that first line with McDavid and Draisaitl. So it may happen mid-game in Game 6, but it wouldn't shock me if we see in morning skate those two on a line again in the morning of Saturday morning.
Yes, the McDryman line.
Yes.
For what about Troy from Richmond? If it goes 7, come on, it's his home rink.
You know what? I've liked what Troy Setcher has brought to the back. I know he hasn't played a ton, but when he has played, he's looked pretty good keeping the puck in the offensive zone. He's been responsible, but you know what? I don't see Troy Setcher checking in, even though I think he'd be a bit of an upgrade on the back end, because when he's played, he's looked pretty effective. I just am glad that tonight they did break up the pairing of Nurse and CC, because I love Darnell. I'm a big Darnell Nurse guy, but when he's with Cody CC, that pairing does not work. So hopefully again they keep apart CC and Nurse as a pairing.
Yeah, I think that would be smart, because I feel like the Canucks have figured out how to kind of crack those two. Especially starting in Game 1, they were -4. So, like, that should be a glaring sign to this is not working out. On the Canucks side of things, I think it was a good... I mean, Mikheyev obviously has some kind of injury going on. Lafferty was taken out. I saw a funny tweet that was like, oh, yeah, they should have scratched them before. Like, Mikheyev and Lafferty, meaning... because, they're Leafs. They're former Leafs, and it's round 2. They don't know how to play. I thought that was great, so I forgot who tweeted it, but shout out to that person. I thought Podkolzin was really good coming in. Niels Höglander, he had that experience, and he had such a good chance that went off the post there. The post is not good goaltending anyway, but... I can't do the Draisaitl mix of a Albertan / German accent. I can't. I tried and it went like vaguely Russian, but I don't know. Anyway, Niels Höglander coming in, he had such a good chance. I hope he stays in for Game 6 and is not sitting out again, but we don't know. Maybe Lafferty comes back in. I thought that the defense core, it was better tonight. I mean, I love to see Noah Jolson come in and play in one of the spots because I think he's very dynamic in multiple different areas on penalty kills as well. But I think he was mainly kept out because of the goal he kind of cost the Canucks in Game 4, which I mean I understand to a point. At the same time, it let the local boy in. Like same thing with Troy, except the opposing team. Anyway. The Canucks, they did mix up their lines a little bit near the end. Like, for the game-winning goal, it was Miller, Pettersson, and Lindholm, so a bit of a blender. Like, all their top three centers all on the ice at the same time. Interesting move, but it obviously paid off. The fourth line, absolutely dynamic. I like that they brought back the Joshua Bluger and Garland line, because that was really a force to be reckoned with this season at some points. So I thought that was super cool. And yeah, the Swedish line worked out. The Bluger line, the Oman line, and the top line had their moments. So the top line actually was really good defensively too tonight, I will say. So I really don't know how you switch any of this lineup up. Yeah, I don't see why you would want to factor them in. I honestly don't even see if Thatcher Demko's okay. I don't know if you want to bring him back in just because of how good Shelovs is playing right now. Do you want to bring back in an 80% Thatcher Demko when he's, probably going to be less dynamic than Shelovs has been? All right, we're going to address comments and questions in the chat in just a second. But one more last message.
Game Over Vancouver is broadcasting from the Game Over Network channel for the playoffs, but starting in October, the network launches for real, which means for all of your Vancouver Canucks content, you want to go check out the Game Over Vancouver channel. You can subscribe right now by opening up the Game Over Network channel from this video in a new tab, scroll down past my ugly mug, click on the Game Over Vancouver YouTube page, then click subscribe and click that reminder bell as well so you don't miss when we post a video or go live. Tell all your Canucks fans, friends, and family to come join our awesome community. You really won't regret it. And for this video, make sure you smash that like button right into oblivion.
I put the wrong screen. I put the end screen up. Sorry. We're not ending just yet. We still have some last things to address. I have another thing to address. Matthias Ekholm was born in 1990.
Yes, he was. Looks far older.
What? Matthias Ekholm?
The beard makes him look a little bit older than being born.
Evan Bouchard looks like the same age as him, and they're 9 years apart.
That's Daddy Bouch. That's dad's strength from Bouch. Got the strength of a 44-year-old man with 3 kids and a mortgage.
I mean, yeah. That man. It's weird looking at him because he and Quinn Hughes, he is 6 days younger than Quinn Hughes, Evan Bouchard.
That sounds like fake news, but I know it's true.
Yeah, October 14th, 1999 and October 20th, 1999. HSM Fangirl says your hat is awesome, Avry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Looks like Edmonton's biggest strength might be their biggest weakness. I think it was an off night. We're all allowed to have off nights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, yeah, sure, an off night might have bigger consequences than, an off night in the regular season, but it's okay. I do think that ice time may also be a detriment, too, because, yeah, if you're playing forwards at least almost half an hour, it's a bit concerning. I understand that they are, Connor freaking McDavid at the same time. Yeah. Canucks are focusing on discipline. Yeah, I guess. If the Canucks win the series, I think the conference final will be the most normal hockey we've had during these playoffs. I mean, Yeah, no, especially if it's the Stars. Like that would be chaos. Um, Fans should not throw trash on the ice. I agree. After the PD call, which the Canucks killed off anyway, and I feel like that shows the amount of faith the Canucks fans have on their penalty kill, is that anytime that there's a penalty called against them, it's just panic and pandemonium in Rogers Arena. That shows how much trust we have in the penalty kill. But it paid off tonight. So I mean that continues the trust issues for me. Anyway, da, da, da. That's the Calvin Hobbs. Zadorov signs with us in postseason. I hope that happens too. I just think they're gonna have to make some moves to do it. I think that trading Hronek's signing rates would be good. Mainly because I also just don't want him to be a Canuck anymore. But I'm tired of him. No. Get a shot on goal, then we'll talk. So was Patterson just supposed to let himself get trucked by Warren Fogle? I mean, yeah, it's the reverse hit. It's part of PD's game. At the same time, he technically jumped up. But because it was really funny. The depth perception of the ref seeing it, he thought he couldn't tell if it was a jump up or jump into the player. And I mean, as a person that notoriously struggles with depth perception, I think that yeah, I it's hard. It's hard. I think Nathan Fielder, the actor, he was there and he held up a sign that said, be nice to the refs, their job is hard. So I think that's the most Nathan Fielder thing to do.
Did he get booed for that?
He got booed. He got booed. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He was wearing a Canucks jersey, I think, but yeah, he still got booed. He was supposed to not jump. You can't leave the ice while being hit. Then the victim of every hit should be a penalty. I was totally thinking OT. Do you think if it had gone in off PD, it would have counted? Like off his skate? Did it almost go off his skate? Did I miss that?
Yeah, there was one goal, or one situation that, there was one play where the puck went off his skate, and that could have been a whole different controversy, but.
Okay. Because I know they were, like, technically looking at the play at the bench, but couldn't figure out if it was, like, offside or a high stick, but they can't actually challenge for a high stick in the last minute, can they?
No, I don't believe so, no, but.
Yeah. I think that was part of it. It would have looked like a kicking motion. I mean, didn't Lindholm technically kind of do that? Not really. He touched it with a stick after, but I feel like there's been some kicking motion goals that have gone in. But I feel like that's less of a priority when everything else just gestures vaguely to NHL officiating is happening. Was that a Canucks adaptation or just a momentum shift? So on the power play, I believe. I mean, I think it could be both. Maybe the Oilers' top players are getting a bit tired. Maybe the Canucks just learned how to crack the power play, which if they did, then that's like the Da Vinci Code. I don't know the Da Vinci Code, any of that. I heard a joke about it on John Oliver once. Anyone think we could win on Saturday to advance? For entertainment purposes, and for the fact that I won't be there to recap it, I hope it goes to 7. Because that would also just be very funny. Sorry. Adam Foote was jumping in when Rick Tocchet was talking to the ref, and Tocchet had to give him the honey, the adults are talking energy. That's funny. Canucks are a good road team. They can end it in 6. I mean, Game 4 was the first time they lost on the road, but again, it was a terrible game for the Canucks, so McKayev has not been as fast. Given what people are saying about ACL recovery, could gain some speed going into the next year or into the next couple playoff games. I mean, he's injured right now, so I don't think he's coming into the next couple playoff games, but we'll see. Hopefully he's alright, gets back soon enough, but yeah. This one's to both of us. Do you have any thoughts on Vasily Podkolzin's night? I think that he had a pretty good night. I've mentioned that a couple times, but yeah, Avery, any notice from, I don't want to say across the pond, but across the Rockies, I guess.
No, I thought he was effective for Vancouver tonight. I thought he was very effective, and yeah, it's gonna be a big thing again. Is you're gonna need a guy like him in Game 6 when it's gonna be all hands on deck to try and knock out Edmonton Oilers. That's the one big thing that Vancouver's had all year long is guys outside of JT Miller, Pedersen, Hughes stepping up. So Game 6 is gonna be a night to pay attention to him and see what he can do if he can be a hero for Talkit on Saturday night.
Yeah, especially as the Canucks go into next year. I mean, they still do have a lot of wingers on their payroll, but with a number of those being UFAs, RFAs, like Elias Lindholm is probably going to go to the market. Dakota Joshua might, if the Canucks don't give him a suitable offer, which I 100% think they should give him all the money. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks for the future. So considering that they have this young guy who's been pretty decent, I'll say, for the Canucks, I think that, yeah, him stepping in and Talkit showing that trust in him is huge for right now. We're getting into the conference final and losing Sting as much when we didn't expect to even get in the playoffs in the first place. Honestly, no. Because I feel like getting into the conference final, I've just accepted that, okay, this is all right. This is where we lose. Admittedly, my mind is made up that it's a Dallas Rangers Cup final. Because I think that would be very exciting. But so I'm not really choked if the Canucks choke in the next round. Because yeah, I did not expect this team to get that far. I had them wildcard 2 at best, and they won the Pacific Division in their second round of the playoffs. So don't listen to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Except for this show. Subscribe to Game Over. I could talk. Shout out to all the Bouchard is as good as Hughes people as they watch him cough up the puck for the PDG goal. Any comments?
That was a very tough play, and I wrote about Evan Bouchard for the Hockey News in terms of how he's been getting better defensively. He's third in team scoring. He's one of, I believe, 5 Oilers to have 15 points in a single postseason ever in Angel history. So that was just a really tough night for Evan Bouchard behind the net, turning the puck by Pickard. But you know what? He's the kind of D-man. He'll find a way to bounce back. He's had a good series. He's got 2 game-winning goals in this series, so it's not like he's been bad in this whole series. When people say Evan Bouchard is not a top pairing guy or is not Norris caliber, it's like, come on, really? Evan Bouchard is going to be, I'll say here on Game Over, Evan Bouchard, before his career is over, will be a Norris Trophy finalist at least once his career. He will be a finalist at least once his career before it's over.
If they're counting it by, like, the Erik Karlsson how many points can you get metric, I think that he has a good chance because he's very good offensively. I feel like when the comparison for Bouchard and Hughes is not entirely fair because Hughes isn't a completely offensive defenseman. He's puck moving, but he doesn't get all the goals. He doesn't have the bomb that Bouchard does. Bouchard is very talented offensively, and he's, like you said, gotten better defensively, but that was just a hiccup. And I mean, hey, Quinn Hughes has hiccups all the time. He has the Hughes gene for just completely wiping out on the ice. So, like,
the Hughes gene's funny.
It's a gene. There are compilations. I've seen them. Yeah. Bouchard and Hughes are very different defensemen. So I feel like pitting them against each other isn't exactly fair. That's my statement on that. Wouldn't put Demko in unless he's 100%. He's too important. Yeah. feel like Demko is the card you play for facing elimination in the series. I think even less of a chance if you're facing elimination. Anything that happens past the series is gravy for me. Fingers crossed, though. Pretty much. What's the mood in the Oilers side of things for that? Like, is there faith that they can push it to 7?
Ollie, there is faith in it, yes, but I think there's also the element of one your season relied on needing Calvin Pickard, and it's going back to Ken Hall not doing enough, where you've put Pickard and Skinner in this spot where these guys are relied upon to save your season. But also too, the sentiment is now your top guns have to step up now in a elimination game. You're gonna need more, funny enough, from McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman now, when they've been the stories for the rest of the postseason. So yeah, there is hope, but it's gonna have to be it's gonna be more than just one guy stepping up. You need your top guns to step up to keep your season alive on Saturday.
Would you say that the McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, they're being passengers right now? To use Rick Tocchet's words?
You wouldn't think that would happen, but right now they are. Right now, you're getting more from guys like Dylan Holloway. You got more from Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown. Like, you got more from guys you wouldn't expect. Like, and that's, I mean, yes, the depth guy stepping up and younger guys stepping up is great, but when the going gets tough, when crunch time is here, McDavid can't be a passenger. Jaime can't be a passenger. Those guys, Draisaitl can't be a passenger. You need those guys in these type of games on the road to step up and deliver. You have to.
Yeah. Kind of like, yeah, like the Canucks, basically what the Canucks did in Game 4, the Oilers did in Game 5. It's just, I feel like the Oilers handled it a bit better overall, but yeah, they need that speech. They need an Avry x Rick Tocchet collab for Game 6. People want Skinner back in the net. I think that's with malicious intent.
Yeah, I saw the emoji attached to that. That was not meant with a good sentiment.
Please put Skinner back in net. Yeah, that's definitely coming from a nice point of view. I would be worried about overpaying Joshua. Considering that this franchise survived Jim Benning for as long as it did, I have no fear anymore. Well, I have some fear, but not fear about that. I have a fear of trains. That's unrelated. As a Habs fan, getting to the playoffs in 2021 was the best, and I wasn't even sad when we lost. The Habs 2021 run was absolutely magical. That's, yeah. It's also somehow the reason I transferred out of my first university, but that's another story for another time. And one last comment. Knockout Panda says Ekholm was hampered that game. Thoughts?
And it looked like he was a little bit, and that's not a good thing, because again, Bouchard and Ekholm are your two best D-men, so I guess we'll see. We'll learn, we'll get an update for Chris Knobloch, if not tomorrow, before the team flies back to Edmonton, I'm sure on Saturday morning during the pregame skate. But they're going to need him at his best. They're going to need him as healthy as possible come Game 6.
Yeah, he didn't look 100%. This last little while, he had that awkward kind of hit. He took that awkward kind of hit in Game 4. Sorry, one more. After 5 games, the goals difference is nuts. Canucks 17, Oilers 16. Massive aspect of the series. It's this tight. None of the other series have that kind of margin. Congrats, Archer Shelovs and Calvin Pickard, I guess. And Stuart Skinner, technically. By technicality, yes. Yeah, it's a very tight series. I'm excited to see what happens in Game 6. I'm excited to see... Let's admit, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in Game 7. This series is going to be one for the ages, and I'm going to be so sad when it ends either way because it's been very entertaining to cover, to watch, to just exist in this space of the Canucks and the Oilers are actually going to have a decent rivalry now. So I'm excited.
No, as a lot of people should, as am I, as a lot of people watching tonight absolutely should be, Kaja.
Yeah, this series is probably, I don't want to overstate, is it the best in the second round currently?
I think it is, absolutely. Yeah, I think it is. It's the tightest, it's the most chaotic. I would say, I mean, it may not be at times the prettiest series, but it's the most entertaining by far.
Yeah, it's, if you want your entertainment value, you better watch this. I mean, no one cares about Game 6 Rangers and Canes, right? Who cares about a natural hat trick for Chris Kreider all in one period? Totally I don't care. Anyway, easily the best, yeah. I mean, considering that series I just mentioned is also just done. This series, I'm feeling it's gonna go to 7. It'll be a great time. Thank you for joining me, Avery. Subscribe down below to the Game Over Network. Subscribe to all the different hub channels. Like the video, comment, share with your friends. Bruins Panthers the best? No. Just no. That's all. I am not commenting. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. I think my yap quota has been filled. Any last... I was gonna say any last words, Avery, but that sounds very dark. Any last comments?
Any last comments? I will say once again, Game 6 is going to be another 1-goal game. If it's not, I will eat a picture of a fedora on air next time on Game Over.
I'll hold you to that. That would... Watch it be a blowout. 7-0 Oilers.
Could you imagine?
Cody Ceci hat trick, like... All right. Good night, everybody. It's been a time. Bye.
Later.
Game